What's going on, YouTube? You got Two Nerds, One Podcast starting right now with Justin from eNerdtainment. I'm here with AJ from the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. What's going on, AJ?
Not much, pal. Not much. I've actually enjoyed this whole week off, which was really nice from work. Relaxing. I got older this week, so wanted to party all week,
That's right.
basically by myself.
Happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you. Oh, I did. I did. Anytime I'm not working, I'm enjoying myself.
For sure. So we're going to be talking Batman today, obviously, but give them a quick rundown again of how we do our list, how we kind of expedite things so we don't talk about the same movies over and over.
So basically, if we have the same topic at the same number, we'll talk about it. If what I have at a later number that he has an earlier number, we'll punt. So we only talk about it at that higher number. So if my 10 is his 5, we won't talk about my 10. We'll talk about it at his 5. And then we will compile our list from 10 to 1 or 11 to 1 special because, Batman has a crap ton of movies.
Yeah. Been rebooted a few times.
Yeah, we are leaving 2 of them out. We are leaving out Batman 1943 and Batman 1949.
Yeah,
so we're starting with Adam West and going to Robert Pattinson.
You got it. You want to kick us off? You want me to?
I'll let you start with number 11, pal.
Okay. For me, I respect the movie, but it's 1966, Batman 1966. I didn't want to leave it off because I do love Adam West. But I go back and I watch the movie. I don't really. I know you're gonna punt. I know we're gonna punt it. I know you're probably like blasphemy. I don't like the movie anymore, man. I don't really. I don't like the campy Batman. That's my opinion. I know that I'm not alone in that. So it's not really that big. I think most people would agree that this movie is average at best. It's entertaining. It's funny, but it's just not my cup of tea. So for me, number 11 easily is Batman 1966. So
you said blasphemy. You said blasphemy, and boy, you hit that right on the head. We're going to talk about that more when we get to my Batman 1966.
Good. I'm glad I didn't waste any time getting you fired up.
Oh, well, Batman's my superhero. Batman, okay. I have so many Batman pops on my wall. Like, it's disgusting. Also, I've played all the Arkham games to the point where I had to buy a new disc for them.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so what's your number 11?
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. Okay. Fair, that's my number 10.
Sucked. Like, he's probably made to be that shitty, but awful movie. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, while she's very awesome to look at, no. And then you have George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
At all.
I'll agree. I wasn't a fan of the Clooney Batman because I think it was a failure. I thought he was going to do great. I thought Arnold was going to do great as Mr. Freeze. I mean, as a kid at that time, that was a dream casting for me. I was like, yes, it was all supposed to be perfect. And it failed so spectacularly. It was such a failure. You go back now and you watch it in jest. You just enjoy the campiness of it. So.
Yeah, you talk about crappy movies that are set up to be really good but end up being really shitty. That's one of them. I thought it was going to be a softball, like perfect for them to hit right out of the park. They had it all, and they just made a shitty movie out of it. Like, who the fuck comes with ice skating, like bat skates? Like, what the fuck?
They just took it all way too far. So yeah, not surprisingly, that's my number 10.
Okay, so that's good. I'm happy we were all able to bounce off.
I'm still not a big fan of Batman and Robin, but again, the Adam West, and it pains me. I probably should switch those just because, at least for what it was, Batman 1966 succeeded. But yeah, I can go back and watch Batman and Robin because it was my Batman movie as a kid. Like, growing up, I watched both Keatons. I watched Forever, and then this movie was like you said, supposed to be epic. So I still have fond memories of it, in spite of its very obvious shittiness.
Yeah. And since you just did your number 10, my number 10 is Batman and Robin. Or not Batman and Robin, Batman Forever with
Okay,
Val Kilmer, Chris O'Donnell.
we're gonna
And
have to punt. We're gonna have to punt because I do like Batman and Forever. I told you quite a bit more than Batman and Robin. Don't
yeah, I
think
know
it's a
we had
great.
that conversation. I
Yeah,
didn't think we were punting out of number 10 there.
yeah. Number 9 for me is Dark Knight Rises. Just not a big fan. Again, you want to talk about movies that now I don't know that I
That's a
don't
punt,
know
dude.
I don't know. Okay, so we're just punting back. See, I thought we were going to agree on this, and we're punting back and forth.
No. That means the end of our list is going to be freaking psychotic.
Okay, cool.
So
No,
my number 9 is going to be Batman versus Superman, which is another. So let's go to our number 8. What do you have for
yeah.
number 8?
Batman Returns.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's talk about it.
okay. Batman Returns again. From me, Keaton Batman was it for me growing up. So this movie, the first time I saw it, I loved it. And it's one of those movies that with each watch, I like it less. And that's not
Yes.
how I like
Yep.
my movies.
I hate that I am completely right with you there. Like Danny DeVito as Penguin, the first time I watched it was like, yeah, it works, it
Yep.
works. And then I watched it in preparation for doing this show over the last week,
Yeah.
and halfway through I'm like,
It's painful.
what the fuck, dude?
Right. I agree, buddy. I agree. I couldn't, again, we don't have to harp on it then if we're pretty much in agreement. It's not that it's bad. I don't think that they missed the mark in what they were trying to do. You just can't give that much creative freedom to that guy in an existing property like Batman, and he's gonna fucking go crazy. So it was just not for me. Not for, again, especially as I've gotten older. Not for me.
So what do you have as your number 7?
That's where I have Batman Forever.
Okay, well, let's talk about it now.
Yeah. Again, I have it slightly above. Again, on my list, it would be 66, Batman and Robin, Dark Knight Rises, Batman Returns, and then Batman Forever. So I have it above those movies because I just enjoy it more when I go back and watch it. It's fun. Again, I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is it great? No, but it's a lot of fun. I could do without the Two-Face completely in the movie, to be completely honest with you. But I think they have some moments that are fun back and forth. But I enjoy the movie at least more than the other ones that I have.
For me, Two-Face ruins the movie. If it was more of a Batman Bruce Wayne Riddler movie, yes.
I agree.
Minute Tommy Lee Jones shows up on screen,
I agree. He's too much.
Game over.
You can tell he doesn't want to be there. You can tell he's phoning it in, being just. There's a difference between being campy and just not giving a shit. And all you have to do is go back and watch Adam West. Yeah. And for all of whatever your opinion is of that Batman, and I'm not overly favorable of it, you can't say the man was phoning it in or didn't give a shit. He loved it. Loved what he was doing, believed in it.
And basically the 66, which we're going to get to more into detail when we hit it on mine, because we punted off of yours so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
He basically wanted to make a longer movie of the TV show. That's basically it. And going into my number 7, is that where we're at?
Yeah, we would be your number 7, yeah, because mine was Batman Forever.
Justice League, which is going to be a punt because you must have it further up.
Yeah, because we're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
Yes,
I am a big fan of that movie.
That is the only one that exists.
Yeah.
The only one that exists.
Yeah. I don't know if we explained it before we started, but we're only talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League because the other one doesn't exist, and the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman. Because if we were only talking Batman v Superman, that would be a lot higher on my list as well. Because it's not a good movie.
No, not at all.
But if we're talking about the Ultimate Edition, much better.
So we're punting off of the Justice League from my number 7.
We have to, yeah.
To number 6, where I have the Dark Knight Rises. So now let's talk about the Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
You had it at what number?
9. It was only above Batman and Robin and Batman 1966.
I'm surprised by that because
not a fan of the movie.
You don't understand the movie?
No, not a fan of the
Oh,
movie.
oh.
Yeah, just
See,
not.
I love the fact that Bane isn't the dumbass you have him in Batman Forever. He's this methodical bad guy that is winning and wins to the point where there is no more Batman anymore. And I kind of wish we had saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt be Robin, but that was stupid. I'll give you that. That was a stupid ending to that
Yeah,
fucking movie.
yeah,
Um, but I thought it was fantastic. Like nothing is beating the second movie of that trilogy at
sure.
all. Nothing is.
They were
Making sure I'm
destined to
looking
come.
at my
They were
list.
they were destined to come up short. Obviously,
And I really thought that the cast of characters they brought to the table had the development necessary to cause this movie to be good. You have Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, fantastic character, little bitchy at times, but Catwoman, bitchy.
she's
Bruce
snarky. I
Wayne,
liked it.
Bruce Wayne dealing with, the trauma of what happened to Harvey Dent. He literally put up the cape. Done. Game
Right.
over. Until another force came by, Bane, with, oh man, I'm trying to think of short guy Venom's name.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah. Tom Hardy, I thought was a fantastic Bane. Wow, he is memed to beyond belief. Uh, I thought he was fun. Granted, he was sitting on about 5 or 6 inches of platform shoes to match Christian Bale's height. The action was good. The fighting was good. I felt the story was good. This is why I put it at my number 6. Why did you actually put it at your number 9?
Because this is for me a classic example of a movie being great until it wasn't. Because the opening of this movie, I dare I say, is almost to the level of the second. It's not quite there. The opening of the second movie is phenomenal. But I like the airplane opening of the third movie. I think it's thrilling. It's a great introduction to the character. I love when he breaks the bat. That's the best action sequence in the probably the franchise.
Peels
That
the
yeah,
cowl right off
again,
of Bruce's head.
amazing. And up until you reveal that he's not actually the brains behind the operation, it's Talia al Ghul who's been pulling the strings. You make him sort of a pawn, a lackey. He kind of goes out like a bitch when they shoot him with the trike. The end of the movie was very unsatisfying, and it was more disappointing than anything because I was on board until all that. I liked the story. I agree with most of what you said. It was just the reveal of Talia al Ghul, her ridiculous death. Oh my God, talk about exactly. Um, I didn't like the scene where he sees Alfred across the way, in Paris or wherever they were. I thought that was cheesy.
Were you hoping that if they're gonna kill Batman, that he's gonna
Just do
stay
it.
dead?
Just do it. Just freaking do it. You know what I mean? Like, so if you take that movie, chop off Talia al Ghul, let Bane finish his mission, like you said, win, kill the bat, but like still go down somehow. Like, I think there's a way to make a masterpiece there, and for me, it just fell a little short. I don't hate the movie, but they just, and it might just be a little bit of me just wishing that Heath Ledger was there. You know?
Yeah, same. Always, because I don't think we were done if he was still alive with
No,
that
no,
character.
I don't think so.
But I feel like they made chicken salad out of chicken shit after he died because they had to go back to the
Yeah,
drawing board.
yeah.
And it didn't bother me that they kept Batman slash Bruce Wayne alive. Basically, Bruce Wayne. Batman is completely dead. When
Right.
they fished that uh, Batcopter, whatever you want to call it, the the
I,
bat
I think they
out of
just
the
called it the
water,
bat. Yeah, yeah.
and they're like the autopilot was fixed, and I was like, mother trucker.
Mother son. Yeah, okay.
I was
Yeah,
like, maybe we'll have another one, and I
I'm
was like,
not. I'm not
no, they
upset.
wanted a trilogy.
Yeah, I'm not upset with him getting his happy ending. I'm just saying I thought the it was kind of cheesy when they saw each other at the table or whatnot. But anyway, I don't hate the movie. It's just unfortunately, like you said, we're talking about Batman. He has a lot of movies, and for me, most of them hit pretty true.
So let's jump to my number 5 because
Okay.
that's where I put Batman 1966.
Okay, so we have to talk about. Obviously, you know why it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me on a fundamental level, so I can't really critique it. So I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
As somebody who is a huge Batman fan, which I know you are, but I've gone back and watched an ungodly amount of episodes from that 1966 era style with Adam West and Burt Ward. Uh, I loved it, and I love how the movie just expanded the episode style outside of that 5 minute segment of with him running on the deck with a bomb. Like
Right.
it still cracks me up. Like, and it feels like a lot of shit that we deal with. Like some
Yeah.
days you just can't get rid of a bomb, and I'm like, some days you just can't get rid of your boss.
Yeah, and I do respect that, like you described it as a long episode of the show. I'm sure fans of that age, that's what they wanted. They wanted more of the
Yeah.
same. It was a hit, so why change the formula? Just make it bigger, make it better, make it funnier. I'm sure
Oh,
it
and
worked.
it was hilarious. Where you got Cesar Romero, you have Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, because they're all there, right? Every single one
Oh,
of them, if I
they're
remember
all
right.
there.
Every single one of them. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I know I've watched it in the last 3 or 4 years, and it just I tried and I couldn't
Like
even get.
I mean, for 1966,
Yeah,
that's their version of a Batman epic, and
yeah.
to this day, I will still consider it an epic because for me, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun watch. That's why I audible gasped when you said this was last on your list. I was like, how the fuck
It just
is he
again, it just
watching the
doesn't.
same thing I am?
It just I am. It just doesn't work for me. But again, I'm not. I wasn't surprised that you're a fan because I know there are people that can go back and watch it for what it is and truly enjoy it. And I wish I was one of them. I'm like that with classic gaming, but I'm not like that with a lot of classic TV, unfortunately. So,
All right, so what do you have at your number five?
Batman Begins.
That's my
Batman
number
Begins.
four. So let's talk about it, and we can just swoop around to.
Okay. Yeah, because we haven't skipped any, right?
Nope.
I don't think so. So
Maybe.
no, because we covered
Bat-
66, we covered Batman and Robin, we covered Dark Knight Rises, we covered Batman Returns, we covered Batman Forever. Did we do Batman v Superman?
Nope.
That's
That's
my
my
number.
number nine.
That's my number 6.
Okay.
So we,
Well, let's
so we
talk
need,
about
yeah,
your number six then.
yeah. So you didn't like Batman v Superman. You had this is a big one for us where I liked it a lot more than you did.
My issue has everything to do with the sour taste that was put in my mouth when I saw the movie, and I was like, "Oh, they added 19 minutes of extra content."
At least the
Didn't
movie
help.
made more sense. It did.
It did.
I'd say you have to
It
agree to
did.
disagree there because I think it helped. I do think it helped. Is it a great movie? It's
It
not.
added a little
It's
more
not.
context, but I was
Yeah.
still sitting there. I remember being at my friend's house. They're like, "Hey, we got the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's gonna be great now."
Yeah, I was expecting, yes. That's exactly what I was expecting. It's the reason it's number 6 and not number 3 or 2 is because it was still, for what it was, I mean, you have Batman versus Superman. Why is that movie number 6 on my list?
It
I
should
think
be
that,
number
I
one. It
think,
always should be number one.
that's what I'm saying. I think that in of itself is a failure. But you having it at number 9 is a catastrophic failure. The fact that that's even debatable.
I like Ben Affleck's casting. I like Henry Cavill's casting. I like Gal
Jesse
Gadot's
Eisenberg.
casting.
I like Jesse
That was-
Eisenberg. I just think they failed with the execution.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg pulled me out of the movie every time he was on
Yeah.
screen. I was like, hey, that's
yeah.
the dude from Network.
Yeah. I think he could have done it. I just think he went way too Zuckerbergy with it, and it just was. It was weird.
And even in the Ultimate Edition, the CGI in the movie,
Still
at
pretty
least in
rough.
my opinion, still sucked.
It's still pretty rough. That's why I can look back on movies like Spider-Man 2 and be like, yeah, it's aged, but they're putting this shit out, and it's only like 3 years old, and it still looks rough.
Yeah.
So
Rough is
yeah,
rough.
so I'm okay with putting that pretty much right smack on my list at number 6. I still do enjoy what little bit of action we get. I do enjoy them battling. I'm having a brain fart right now. Doomsday for the
Yeah.
brief moment. You know, obviously Gal Gadot showing up, being the badass. I love the musical hits when she's out there. So it has a couple of a couple of really awesome moments. But that's about it. It's utterly
So
forgettable at the end of the day.
That was number 6 for you, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So we accidentally skipped 6. We talked about 5,
Yep.
Batman 1966. So I think we're all caught up now
Yep.
with your number 5 being
Batman Begins.
okay, which I have at 4.
That's fine. So
So-
let's just talk
so-
about Batman Begins for a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's the first introduction of Christopher Nolan's. I think it was 2005 when it came out. You had Christian Bale at first as Batman. You have Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, or
Mm-hmm.
Ra's al Ghul,
Ra's
depending
al
on how you
Ghul.
how
Yeah.
you say it. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow.
Underutilized. Underutilized.
Very much so. Michael Caine as Batman, which I never thought in my world I would see Michael Caine
As
play
Batman? Holy shit, when did
at
that happen?
Batman.
Oh my
As a
god.
kid,
Michael Caine as Batman. Dun, dun, dun. Master Bruce.
you,
Master
you know what's
Bruce.
funny is in the Lego
Oh.
movie that happens. In the
He played.
Lego
Oh yeah,
movie that
yeah. You're
actually
right. You're
happens.
right. You're right. You're right. I remember that. I remember that. Ah.
I went full potato on that one, everybody.
Uh,
Clip that, put that on freaking
Ah.
Facebook for
I'm
you.
trying to keep the mask on, people. All right. So yeah.
Never thought I'd see Michael Caine as Alfred, and then they brought in Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. So already a disgusting cast, and don't forget Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
I was about to be like, come on, man, don't leave Al Oldman.
But
Dude never forgets the assignment.
as
He's a,
as much as I thought it was a great backstory, because this is my number four, I thought it was a great backstory. I kind of tired of seeing Batman's parents die in every single movie.
yeah. We
Um,
probably could have just skipped over that entire sequence. I know they handled it quickly, but they still showed it and it still happened, and we didn't need to see it again.
yeah, it's like what the new Spider-Mans are doing. We don't have to
Right.
see Uncle Ben anymore.
Right. We understand. We
Yep.
understand. So,
Um, but I loved it. I loved how, what happens to Bruce still affects Bruce when he then leaves Gotham after, everything happens, and he's basically gonna kill Joe Chill.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Basically gonna do it. And goes and trains and comes back as the Dark Knight and really starts handling business the way he sees fit. Doesn't kill, but definitely that shipping yard scene still gives me chills when I see it.
Very well done. Yeah.
Where
yeah.
is he? Here.
I'm Batman. And he hadn't gotten, like, the growl wasn't comical yet. It was getting there, where are the drugs going? But it wasn't quite to like the level it gets, by the third one. So I love Batman Begins. There was a
Yeah,
time where I
it's
thought
a
I
good
might have
movie.
actually liked it more than The Dark Knight, but I've quickly come back to the light on that regard. But it's still a phenomenal origin story. Christopher Nolan injected realism into a franchise that desperately needed it after Batman and Robin. I mean, you got to imagine where we were coming from.
Yeah, 8 years separating both
We
of them.
needed this, and we needed it to be a hit, and we needed people to take it seriously, and they did, and it was awesome. And still, I watched this movie religiously.
Mhm.
So
So, what is your number four?
number 4 is the Keaton Batman. 1989 Batman is my number 4.
That's my number two.
Okay. I don't hate you for it because I love Keaton as Batman. He is, and obviously it's mostly because of this film, because I'm not a big fan of Returns. But this movie kicks ass. Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson kicks ass. This movie is just, it was my introduction to the character, my introduction to superhero movies, really. And it just blew me away back then. I have it on VHS, and I still love watching this movie every single time. It's a blast. And it's not boring. There's no, like, filler scenes. It's literally just, we're progressing this plot forward, we're meeting characters, they're doing something important, action
Still
scene,
love how
action
it's
scene.
campy. I
Yeah,
still love how it's
yeah,
campy.
yeah.
Because especially around Jack Nicholson's Joker, you get
Yeah.
all that Prince stuff too.
Yeah, come on. It has the perfect level of camp without going too real. It's the perfect balance, in my opinion.
Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I just like the sound of it. So, yeah, that's my number 4.
So my number four was Batman Begins.
Yeah.
What do you
And again,
have as your number three?
that's where I have Justice League. That's where I have Justice League because my only knock on it is that it's 4 hours long. It's exhausting to get through because it's 4 hours long, but it tells one hell of a story and it gives you everything you want.
I get that, but I feel like it being 4 hours and 30 something minutes from start to finish, uh, kind of, I don't want to say degrades the story for me, but the chapter breaks do.
It's a chore. It's the only I can put it this high because I do love the movie, but you have to almost watch it in the same way that I watch the Lord of the Rings special editions. I break it up into like multiple like 2 hour sessions. You just can't plow through that type of content. It's too much. It's too
My whole thing is when you get into the movie, you are invested in this movie. It is very good, but then just when the scene ends, black
title
screen,
title card.
chapter two.
Yeah. I do kind of question the chapter format. I don't know why it was necessary. And you could have easily cut 45 minutes of that movie and it would have been just as good and not as much of a chore. But I feel like he was making a statement. They gave him
Did,
all the money to do it.
did you watch it in black and white or color?
Fuck yeah. Oh, both.
Yeah,
Both.
same here.
Both. I've seen
Same
it
here.
both.
When we reviewed it for nerds, we watched it in color, but that night when I went home, I was like, all right, let's see what this actually looks like. And I was
Justice
like,
is gray.
oh, Batman Noir. Got
Yeah.
it.
It's amazing. It's so good. So, again, the only reason I'm not putting it higher is because it's 4.5 hours long, and I feel like that would be cheating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it has
two
everything.
movies in one.
It's exactly so.
And that was your number 3, correct?
That's my number 3. Yes, sir.
My number 3 is the most recent Batman telling
Okay.
of the Batman, which must be, I would assume your number 2.
It is my number 2.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Robert Pattinson comes in and plays the Cape Crusader against the very
Controversy.
effed up Riddler. Very
Controversy.
What, Robert Pattinson?
Oh my God! Can you believe it?
Cedric Diggory.
Can you believe that there was controversy surrounding a Batman casting, and can you believe that it actually worked out?
I mean, look at what they said about Heath Ledger being the Joker.
You know, I'm being facetious. It happens every time. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. I'm just going to let these people do their job because obviously they know more than I do. He was phenomenal.
Sucks, it's better shit for us.
I agree.
If it sucks, the content creators like ourselves are going to have a awesome fucking field day.
We still have something to talk about either way, so it's all good. But this movie hits in all the ways that they wanted it to. I don't think it drags. I've heard people say that at times it drags, but I think that the movie executes. I think that the movie goes at a very deliberate pace and gives you just the right amount of information. And then right when you're like, man, I'd love to see something blow up or something happen, something happens. So it's I don't want to watch a 2.5 hour action movie when I'm watching Batman. I want to see him do things like be the greatest detective ever and figure crimes out. And it's such a phenomenal movie, and I can't wait to see the sequel.
I thought it was a very well done movie, and you mentioned a portion of it that never slowed down. The minute the dam breaks, and then now they're dealing with the flood in Gotham, with all is that the mayoral candidate or whatever?
Yeah, yep.
That stuff. The minute he has to go do that and focus on that for 5 minutes, that's where I feel like the movie hits a wall before it picks back up again.
Yeah.
How did you like the casting of it? Because I liked Robert Pattinson. I really loved Catwoman. Now that I'm trying to think of her name,
Zoe Kravitz, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah,
I knew one of us was going to pull it.
Yeah, I love that. Again, I'm having a brain fart now. Andy Serkis is getting time to shine in front of the camera. I mean, that dude's been a treasure for probably going on 3 decades now, and now he's getting time to shine.
You mentioned Lord of the Rings.
Exactly, outside of the mocap. So I think he's phenomenal as Alfred. Zoe Kravitz is phenomenal as Catwoman. And Robert Pattinson, great as Batman. I need more from Bruce Wayne. I want to see him grow. But I think that's the point of his story, is he's still broken. You know what I mean? People were talking about him being very dreary and emo-y and whiny. I'm like, the dude just lost his parents. It's okay for him to be a little bitchy, but I would expect him to grow into that billionaire, philanthropist, Bruce Wayne, cocky. They should. I just bought the place. That kind of. I want to see a little bit more of that from him as he matures into the role. But as far as
the emo kid,
exactly. But under the cowl, come on, man, come on.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Andy Serkis because we know Bruce Wayne is a genius.
Right.
But the fact that they gave Alfred part of that genius with trying to fill out those puzzles and everything.
Right. Well, it also makes sense. It makes sense that unless you just want to subscribe to the theory that Bruce Wayne is a prodigy, where would he get all of this
Which in a lot
information
of
from?
mediums he is.
Okay, and I'm fine with that too. Obviously, if you're going to be able to become what he's become, you have to be something special. But to have that kind of nudge in the right direction, a guy who is able to train him, educate him, obviously they work really, really well together. So I think that was, like you said, perfectly executed.
You ready to talk about number? Well, my number 2 was 1989, which we already talked about.
Yep.
It's time for number 1, pal. And I like how with our Spider-Mans, I think 6 out of the 10 were we were spot on. I think we've only met twice.
Yeah, we haven't met very often on this list.
And this is number 2, and it's our number 1.
Yeah.
It's 2008, The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight. Come on.
Go ahead, Justin. Take it away.
I mean, I'll start by saying this was my first IMAX experience. And I remember sitting there saying, I hope this is worth the money and the wait, because I waited almost 3 hours to get in. And when that first scene opened with the skyscraper, I went, oh, okay. And from there I was in. And you want to talk about best opening sequences of all time? Heist sequences, whatever you want to call it.
Simply doesn't kill you, makes you stranger. Right. And the bass that hits when he says stranger.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's just... Christopher Nolan knows how to grab your attention and hold on to it and stretch everything to the point to where you just need some sort of resolution. And then when he gives it to you, it's always perfect. I mean, that's perfection. And again, I can't think of a single scene in this movie that isn't hitting for me. Like because I mean, you go right into Batman and Commissioner Gordon trying to find Joker and blah, blah, blah. And then you've obviously the scene where they're stealing the money, the pen. Let me show you a magic trick, It's just...
that guy's got to have a headache.
Yeah, exactly. So...
you mentioned slowdown, and it's very difficult for movies to not have a little period of where it slows down. And for me, it's the boats, when they're on the boats. Because I feel like they pay way too much attention. But then again, you have to think about it. This is Joker trying to prove to Batman that everybody's fucked up.
Right. It's his grand plan. I mean, that is it.
Yeah, you have the killers on one side and the people of Gotham on the other. And it's basically, if nobody does anything, nothing happens. If somebody does something, blows up the other one. But if they both do something, they both blow up.
Right.
So it's kind of like a will you, won't you kind of thing while you don't know the outcome of it.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger as Joker, dude.
And what can you say? R.I.P., man. What a talented individual. And I am going to be going through some of his other movies on my other streams or other endeavors I have going on. But I'm obsessed with this guy right now because I'm watching all his movies. I'm like, he was so talented. So talented. Yeah. This movie was going to be his moment where people that didn't see A Knight's Tale, didn't see, the 10 Things I Hate About You. The Patriot. Like, he was in so many, and even if it was a small role, you knew that guy, he just had something to him. He had that charisma. 28 years old. And, I mean, can you imagine the star that he would have been if he lived after this movie? Because I've heard people say that the movie only became big and well received because he died. It had that extra publicity. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that he would have not won that Oscar. And I don't think this movie would have not been successful.
If that was the case, why are we still watching it?
Right, exactly. He's been dead for a long time, and we still love it.
Yeah, instead of right there and then, the publicity of everybody watching it, that would have died off, and people would have been like, the hardcore fans would have still watched it, but every Batman fan still watches it. Every superhero fan still watches
it's still in the conversation for greatest superhero movie of all time. If it's not number one,
very difficult. Spider-Man 2 or this, very difficult.
Yeah, but the fact that you're in the conversation, it proves that you did something so emphatically right, and they did everything right. They had Christian Bale hitting his stride as his best performance, as in my opinion, in the role. And then obviously you have everybody else that shows up and does their job. You talking Michael Caine? You already went over the cast. Michael Caine, Gary Oldman. Come on, freaking velvety voice. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
I was
Aaron
just
Eckhart.
oh yeah, freaking. And then you introduce Aaron Eckhart, and
Gyllenhaal.
I like Maggie Gyllenhaal better. So
And Katie Holmes.
Yes. Then other than the fact that I hate when you recast a prominent character like that, hate, because it ruins part of the transition for me. I'm willing to accept it because I will take Maggie Gyllenhaal in that role over Katie Holmes all day. I thought she brought so much more. Right, so much more to it. It didn't matter that I didn't already have the previous movie with her. I still get destroyed every time she dies.
So one of my favorite parts of this movie, and it comes at the end of it, is you know how in the scene where oh god, Two-Face is sitting in the hospital bed and he's talking with Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "I'm just a dog chasing a car. I don't know what I would do if I would catch it."
Right.
I literally, coming back to it and watching it now, bullshit. Everything has been planned, you motherfucker. You planned everything.
Now,
don't give me that bullshit.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Because on that note, I've heard two frames of mind on like his plan. Do you think he is so smart that he's literally like he is absolutely planning everything to the T exactly how it's going to go, or does he have like 4 or 5 contingencies based off of what his pawns do and everything just kind of falls according to that? I find the latter to be more believable than him just oversmarting or outsmarting Batman.
I think he has contingencies after contingencies after contingencies, and right. I think that has a lot to do with Batman's reaction to Rachel getting thrown out the window at the penthouse. Bruce's
so was
penthouse.
That a test? You think that was a test?
I think it was. And that interrogation, he did that on purpose.
Well,
he knew Batman was going for her.
Oh, yeah.
He knew Batman was going for her. So he flipped him. And it was like, he's here and she's there. And without a shadow of a doubt, Batman runs out of that room. The door's not even shut yet. And he hears Rachel. He already won.
Yeah.
Already won.
He knows. He knows exactly what's going to happen. In that moment, I feel like he already had that pretty well planned out. But there were, I guess, other moments were focused, like
with Lau.
Yeah, with Lau. That was pretty.
He knew Batman was going to go get him, and
right, exactly. So how do you know exactly? He had to have other plans in place in case it didn't go down like that. But anyway, either way, obviously the dude is a genius in his own right, twisted, crazy, but also Batman's equal, and that's always been the fascinating thing between those two. So, is he the greatest supervillain of all time? Am I asking a loaded question to a Batman fan?
If you're talking either Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill, yes.
If I can include, so just Joker in general would be an easy yes for you.
Yeah. I would say
he's
the best villain. The only one that comes close, and we're talking all mediums here, is Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Because of the whole switcheroo he does with Peter in the comics, where Doc Ock becomes Peter Parker.
What about Doom?
Fuck! Don't be doing this shit to me, Doom.
I mean, again, I'm just tiptoeing into the comic realm. But I know enough as a nerd to know that there are a couple big hitter names. Magneto is always one of them.
Magneto
Doom
has a very compelling story for a villain.
Of course. How do you not feel bad for a Holocaust survivor, right? So.
Oh man, but that's these are our lists. Do you want to run through your top 11 real fast?
Yeah.
Top to bottom, and then
I'll hit it real quick. So again, at number 11, to your chagrin, I had Batman 1966. Number 10, Batman and Robin. Number 9, Dark Knight Rises. Number 8, Batman Returns. Number 7, Batman Forever. Number 6, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. Number 5, Batman Begins. Number 4, Batman, the Tim Burton. Number 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Justice is Black, whatever you want it to be. Number 2, The Batman the newest Batman. And then number 1, of course, is The Dark Knight.
All
AJ?
right. From 11 to 1, I got Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, 9, Batman versus Superman, Ultimate Edition. Number 8, I got Batman Returns, Justice League sitting at number 7. 6, I have The Dark Knight Rises. In 5th, I have Batman 1966 to the chagrin of you. And in 4, I got Batman Begins. 3, The Batman. 2, Batman, 1989. And then number 1, 2008's classic in IMAX, a movie that I've seen, I think I saw it like 4 times in theaters, and I brought somebody else different every time.
Oh, you play boy.
The Dark Knight.
Who is Bruce Wayne? Are you Batman?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. We had a blast. AJ, did you have a blast?
I had a blast, and I didn't even have to wear hockey pads.
That's amazing, my friend. Guys, comment down below. Again, like he said, let us know your list. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're going to keep this thing rolling. So we need topics. What do you want to hear about? We're big nerds. We love everything nerdy. AJ, you want to plug Nerds Doing Nerd Things real quick before we sign off?
Yeah, man. Since this is going to go live on Friday, everybody, last night we talked to Carissa Grant, who is a horror comic book writer. Go check that out. We talked to her. We also had a separate podcast where we talked about Into the Spider-Verse. So 2 episodes for the night of 1. Go check it out every Thursday starting at 7 p.m. I'm the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I love what I do. My wonderful co-host, Susie, I don't know why I'm pointing over there. She's not over there. But yeah, we have fun. We talk about nerdy shit, and basically it's just a crapshoot of fun, a big ball of fun, and Justin even shows up.
Every once in a while, I like to tune in. We have a good time. So, again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Be good people.